Right now, there is massive pressure to take AI out of the chat box and put it in charge of physical operations and supply chains. We've built up a lot of trust in these models based on standard benchmarks, but those tests usually measure isolated knowledge. They ask a question, grade the answer, and move on, like taking a multiple-choice exam. Real-world operations involve dynamic systems. Every decision an AI makes interacts with the next, and errors compound. If a model overorders slightly in round 1, that surplus alters round 2. By round 4, that tiny miscalculation spirals into a jammed warehouse. Evaluating what an AI knows is entirely different from evaluating how it behaves when its own choices continuously alter the environment. To measure that behavioral gap, researchers built SCM-Arena. It's a benchmark specifically designed to test how language models perform as operational agents under stress and uncertainty. Instead of answering trivia, the models play theBeer game, a multi-tier supply chain simulation used in operations research for decades. They must manage inventory and make ordering decisions over 52 consecutive rounds. This plot shows the performance of 75 top-tier models across more than 53,000 episodes. Not a single AI model matched the human baseline. SCM-Arena serves as a diagnostic tool, exposing the specific moments and conditions where different AI models break down under pressure. For enterprise leaders, the objective is mapping these degradation paths to identify exactly where human guardrails are mandatory. Relying on aggregate average scores to judge an AI's operational competence can be a trap. High averages often hide dangerous non-adaptive behaviors. In a classic supply chain scenario with steady demand, the 2 billion parameter Gemma 2 model achieves a high score that suggests top-tier performance. This chart reveals the strategy. Baseline demand is a flat 4 units. The AI isn't adapting, it simply repeats that base order. When shifted to fluctuating demand curves, the AI's order line remains rigid. Total costs skyrocket as it fails to react. To detect this, SCM-Arena uses metrics like entropy and complexity. They distinguish dynamic, coordinated decisions from narrow, repetitive heuristics. Optimizing for a high baseline metric without verifying behavioral flexibility leads to failure the moment real-world conditions shift. Other models adapt, but they overreact to sudden changes in their environment. This chart models the bullwhip effect, where tiny fluctuations in consumer demand at the retail level get passed upstream. As the signal propagates, those small changes are amplified. By the time orders reach the factory, the system faces massive chaotic spikes driven by upstream panic. Over a long simulation, an AI model might eventually stabilize, resulting in an acceptable final cost that masks the intense coordination failures occurring round by round. Deploying this model turns the AI into a volatility amplifier, destabilizing upstream partners and straining warehouse capacity. Acceptable long-term cost averages are an illusion if the AI generates short-term volatility that breaks physical supply chains. A common tech assumption is that giving an AI maximum context and full memory of past events will improve its decision-making. The benchmark data shows the opposite. AI models given full memory of all 52 rounds perform significantly worse than models given only a short memory window. Early in these simulations, models often make chaotic panic orders while learning the system's dynamics. A full memory prompt forces the AI to constantly read its own history of panic. This historical record acts as a context signal that tricks the model into continuing that overordering, even when current inventory is stable. The AI becomes hopelessly trapped in a dangerous behavioral echo chamber of its own making, constantly reacting to ghosts of past mistakes. Maximizing AI context does not always lead to better reasoning. In dynamic systems, short-term myopia is often necessary to maintain systemic stability. Moving from diagnosing failures to actual deployment requires a practical framework for operations managers. This framework maps behavioral weaknesses to operational boundaries. If costs spike under restricted visibility, human review is required. If a model amplifies bullwhip shocks, it needs hard-coded order smoothing. If it fails the classic baseline game, the core heuristic is flawed and must be disqualified. successful integration relies on identifying the specific operational conditions that trigger a model's collapse. For deployment leaders, this data changes the return on investment calculation for integrating LLMs into dynamic systems. While current models are powerful analytical engines, their performance as autonomous agents in compounding environments is highly fragile. The time and cost required to build condition-specific guardrails and fallback policies must be factored into the deployment strategy. The immediate future of AI in operations depends on human oversight stepping in the moment a model hits its mapped boundaries. To navigate the realities of dynamic systems, enterprises must trade the illusion of full AI autonomy for the reliable reality of supervised human augmentation.